Keith Haring was, as far as I know, the first artist I was really ever introduced to as a child. Everybody has the illustrated characters that they associate with their youth, the Tom and Jerry's, the Jetsons, Looney Tunes cartoons that danced around and tried to kill each other. But for me, it is also these characters, the works of Keith Haring, who produced some of the most recognizable and timeless art of the 20th century. Perhaps through self-actualization or coincidence, I'm told weekly I look like the man who has inspired me since I was a tiny tot. Today, I hold a fitting collaboration between Polaroid and the Keith Haring Foundation that takes us back to honor the past impact of his work, but also shepherds his iconography and message into the future.
The kind of photography that would become part of the human being. Press a button and have the picture.
There's some collaborations and crossovers that leave you thinking, okay, I guess that's cool. And then there are some that make your eyes grow 50 times their size, percolate into your throbbing heart, and make you do a little prayer for your wallet. This connection, the one between Keith Haring and Polaroid, is one of those times. The camera in this film, adorned with Keith Haring's unmistakable artwork and signature, is one of a few intersections between Polaroid and the art icon. But the strongest tie is to the image of the artist himself. When he's not represented by his vibrant lines, shapes, and colors, it's by these Polaroids. These self-portraits are pure representations of him. Tangible touchstones of a man the world lost too soon. Portraits taken of Haring on Polaroid also include those by his friend and avid Polaroid shooter Andy Warhol. Haring and Warhol just popping off Polaroids together, like envisioning that, has me feeling some kind of way. Like that very much hits different for me. And it's unbelievably fortunate for the legacy of Polaroid that these artists use this format in such an iconic and prolific way. Haring captured over 1,600 Polaroids during his brief life. He used it as a tool for art preservation, to maintain his own controlled record of his image, and as a means to document his overall career, from his working process to his increased exposure to fame. He once said that, quote, "Art is temporary and its permanence is unimportant. Its existence is already established. It can be made permanent by a camera." These photographs were part of an ongoing effort by Haring to sort of collect the record of his life. He accumulated news clippings, interviews, press photographs, video, all with a keen interest in self-preservation. And these Polaroids in particular exist as this tactile visual artifact of Haring, handled by him, created by him, taking on an even greater value due to how short his life was. Haring died in 1990 at age 31 from complications from AIDS. He spent much of his life advocating and creating, producing tirelessly, and raising awareness as a gay icon. His reality was often the subject of his own artistry. And he leaves behind such a ridiculous volume of important work. He cranked out several lifetimes worth of pieces, sometimes creating as much as 50 originals a day, often for free and in service of causes he believed in.
If you love life, if you appreciate life and humans, then you should be against anything that's going against life and against people. I mean, when something is that obviously wrong, you have to be against it. You know, and I think it's partly responsibility, but it's partly just a natural response to seeing something that's wrong and wanting to say something about it or do something about it.
Haring defied the common methodology of creating fine artwork exclusively to hang in galleries, which were only affordable to the 1%. He did kind of do that and sold plenty of really expensive pieces, but it was only really ever to fund the rest of what he was creating, which was art accessible to the people. Holding a camera like this, with branded film with his artwork, is very fundamentally Keith Haring. He wanted products like this to exist. He controversially created his own store in New York called Pop Shop, which is still open today online, where he would sell his designs on everything you could print on to the masses. The art world thought this was heresy at the time, but Haring's messages, energy, and art reached so many more people because of its availability, and it's a big reason it is still with us every day today. Haring died 2 years before I was born, but the reverberations of his legacy were still very immediate to me. I think I associate Keith Haring's color and character so closely with early childhood in New York City because New York was Haring. It was his sandbox, his canvas, his playground. And though I was just a little sack of potatoes back then, much of my family were in the arts world. My grandfather is an illustrator, my mom and her mom, design executives, my dad was rocking pop shop fits, you know he's a streetwear king. So Haring's influence was in my face all the time back then, certainly never leaving me today. His positivity, his self-awareness, and his vibrancy are all inspirations to me, plus the charitable work he and his foundation continue to spread today. Consider contributing to Housing Works, a charity striving to provide life-saving services to homeless, low-income, or marginalized people living with HIV/AIDS. You can also go to KeithHaringFoundation.com to learn more about the artist and the causes his foundation continues to support, which you know is big for B. Thank you for watching in an instant. Go ahead and shop your finger right onto that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more breakdowns, reviews, guides, and all things instant. Bye.